and welcome. We are so excited to be in community with you all today. Finally, it feels like forever that we have been anticipating this start, and we are so excited for this time together. Happy Tuesday, happy fall. Whatever you're celebrating today, we are happy to be with you on this day. Just to go ahead and kick us off, today we will be focused primarily on building community and level setting so that we are in relationship with each other as we take this dive deeper into the work in future sessions. Our community today is a mixture of direct service practitioners, organizers, youth and young adults, mental health experts, and many more. Welcome to all of you, and thank you for the work, the important work that you're doing in service to your communities, and more importantly, to the young people during this pivotal time. We are excited to meet you and walk along this journey together. So before we get started, I want to be sure to just share a couple of updates and reminders. The first is to be sure that your name is showing and represents the name that you would like to be used in this space. If possible, the pronouns that you prefer. And also, if there is space, your organization, we would love to see that as we start to begin to connect who's who and who's in the space. We encourage people to be on camera if possible, especially for this first meeting, as we're trying to connect names and faces. It's so great to see people come off email and be in this space. And so generally, we'd like to be in person. But we're doing this virtually. So always center your self-care, and if you need to go off camera, but if you are comfortable with being on camera, we would love to be able to see you and be in space with you and know who we're speaking with today. We also encourage you to use the chat feature to engage with folks, but always we want to caution people that the private chats are still readable by the host. So we always like to remind people of that. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started with team introductions. Also, just a heads up, if you have team members who anticipated being here and are not able to make it, we will be recording this session and we'll share it with everyone shortly following the session. So I'll go ahead and kick us off with the introduction. Again, I'm so happy to be here with you all. My name is Joy Thompson. I use she, her pronouns. I'm located on ancestral Ohlone land, also known as Oakland, California. I am deeply passionate about ending exploitation and trafficking, confronting the systemic inequities that contribute to the disproportionate impact of trafficking, especially on Black girls, and creating communities that work for everyone. I currently serve as Director of Programs for the Building Community and Liberation Focus areas here at Youth Collaboratory, where I have the honor of working alongside some amazing team members. A couple of our team members are out today, but they look forward to being in community with you all during our next session. And I'll pass it on to my next team member to introduce herself.
So yes, hello everyone. My name is Deja Merpetway, but I do go by Deja. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm located in Detroit, Michigan, born and raised. As a young leader, I began this work and have since advocated for it using my passion and my lived expertise to advance it. It's my pleasure to be a part of our work in our liberation focus area alongside Lenore and Joy and some other our colleagues, as well as an honor of leading our Growth Action Board, which you will hear about a little bit later on. We are really committed to combating human trafficking through our work and putting youth and young adults at the center of our efforts. So I am just so thankful to be in community with you all today and to just meet you all. It's just very exciting. So I am going to pass it on at this time to some of our GAB members so they can introduce themselves.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be in community with you today. I am Michaela, pronouns she and her. I am from New Haven, Connecticut, and I'm a part of the Youth Catalyst team and the GAB team. Additionally, I'm a student at UConn, where I'm going for a Master's of Public Health. On campus, you could find me involved in reproductive justice, advocacy, or advocating for LGBTQ rights. I have lived experience and I'm also an advocate for juvenile justice, children with incarcerated parents, and bereaved youth. And I will pass it over to Martine.
Thank you, Michaela. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Martine Jones. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am currently a senior at Cal Poly Pomona. I would like to acknowledge the land of Tavanga land, and I am studying major my major that I'm studying is gender, ethnics, and multicultural studies with a minor in African American studies. I also serve as a Youth Catalyst team member as well as a GAB member, and I'm also utilizing my lived experience as a foster youth, and I serve as a foster youth voice representative for the Los Angeles Unified School District and South Bay districts as well. And I would like to pass it to my other team member, Kiana Johnson.
Hi all, my name is Kiana Johnson, she, her pronouns, and I am a consultant and technical assistant here with Youth Collaboratory. I am also such with other organizations such as Collective Action for Youth and Step Up that strive to support marginalized individuals that are young Black girls. I am currently finishing an associate's degree online at Houston Community College and hope to continue dedicating myself to the creation of a world where Black girls can be authentic and safe. I would like to hand it over to Toyin.
Hi everyone, my name is Toyin Below, pronoun she, her, hers. A little bit about me, I was born and raised in Waterbury, Connecticut. I'm a YCT GAP consultant and a rising junior at UConn. I'm also a mental health advocate who started this work with hopes of instilling change in all systems that negatively impact Black girls and homeless and foster youth. And I will pass it on to another team member, Lauren.
Hi, my name is Lauren. I'm 24. I'm a mother, a minister. I'm pursuing a Bachelor in Science and Neurology with a focused interest in socioeconomic stratification and research in victimology, specifically to women of color that are subject to sexual exploitation, human trafficking, and community violence. My lived experience has driven my passion to impact the community around me and has also granted me access to sit at a table with young women who desire to do the same. So it's good to see you guys.
Thank you, Gab team. Thank you, Deja, for introducing yourselves. I also want to center a couple of team members who are not here, but who you will see throughout the collaborative, and that is Kanisha Lenore Jean-Baptiste, who is a training and technical capacity building manager here at Youth Collaboratory, and Kristen Chufa, who is our associate director. So you will be seeing, if you haven't already seen their names pop up in emails, they will also be in this space. So be sure to greet them when you see them or hear from them. The other person that regrettably could not attend today is Cindy Eric. Cindy is a senior policy advisor and juvenile justice coordinator at the Office for Victims of Crime. You'll hear us reference OVC. And she has been a major champion of the work to both prevent and address trafficking of girls, and sends her regrets that she is not able to attend today. For those of you who are connected to the Learning Collaborative through OVC, Cindy is a wealth of knowledge on this topic, and we encourage you to remain connected to her for questions specific to the grant. So thank you for the introductions, team. Just a little bit about Youth Collaboratory itself. Youth Collaboratory serves as an organization for professionals and for organizations to improve the lives of young people, their families, and communities. What we do is we work to harness that power of the youth services community to innovate, evaluate, and drive effective strategies that assure the safety and well-being of youth and young adults, unlocking their limitless potential. Our work focuses primarily on 3 different areas, and that's the coordinated community response to youth and young adult homelessness. That's our youth housing justice focus area and our RITAC work. It's supporting opportunities for young people to build community with family, peers, and others to enhance their assets, explore their strengths, and develop lasting connections. That's our building community focus area, and that houses a lot of our mentoring work. And finally, the preventing and addressing relationship violence and sexual exploitation and trafficking of youth, which is our liberation focus area. So sometimes you'll hear us say liberation team or liberation focus area, and that is the portion of the work that we're referring to. We intentionally chose those names so that we can move away from just saying violence or trafficking or relationship violence when we're talking about work, especially on this project that is focused on Black girls and the disproportionate impact of trafficking on Black girls. So we intentionally call it liberation because that is our end goal, is a future free of violence. So Thank you, Benita, for adding the links in the chat if you want to learn more about who Youth Collaboratory is and our work in the focus areas. Check out that first link, and to learn more about the work of the Liberation Focus Area, please check out that second link. And I'm going to pass it to Deja to talk more about GAB and the Girls Action Board.
Yeah, so I thought I was muted. That was kind of funny. So yes, you had the opportunity to hear from our Girls Action Board team. So what is our Girls Action Board, right? So it's a national leadership team made up of diverse representation of female identified Black girls ages 18 to 24 with lived expertise. Now with our team, we are just deeply and strongly committed to creating pathways for Black girls to lead in this work that really centers their healing, their resilience, and professional development. We focus on Black girls who are disproportionately represented in trafficking, and we try to create space for their, we do create a space for their voices to be uplifted to the forefront of the field. And we do this by providing training and technical assistance to other organizations that seek to directly serve them. Our team is strongly dedicated to building capacity, authentic youth collaboration, and of course, community. We lead all this work with passion, pursue change, and utilize our power to support prevention and early intervention efforts in trafficking of Black girls. And I do want to open up this space for some of our GAB members just to talk about some of the projects or current projects that they have done. And I'm going to pass it off to Toyin.
Hey everyone. So far we've worked on conversation guides to combat and prevent sex trafficking amongst Black girls. We've also worked on the last part of an impactful learning series, which goes into how we can help prevent and reduce the victimization of Black girls. And coming up for me, I'll be co-presenting alongside Daisha and Kiana at the Gwen's Girls Black Girls Equity Summit. So very exciting. And I'll pass it on to Martine to just explain a little bit more as well.
Yes, we are all excited for that next summit. I cannot wait to see you guys shine and share and inspire. Some of the things you also been working on is this building material for that learning collaborative and highlighting barriers and how to overcome and eliminate them.
Thank you, GAB team, so much. And they are being modest, that they have been really busy this season and continue to be busy throughout the fall. And we're always really excited to learn from the GAB team. They are consultants alongside us. So anytime that you see us for TA, you will likely see one of them as well, or know that our TA is informed always by youth, because we know and we always lift up that those that are closest to the problem are also closest to the solutions. And so we cannot do youth work without youth and young adults. So thank you, GAB team, for being here. Thank you for all the work that you are doing to move us along. So what is this learning collaborative? And I'm trying not to rush through it because I really want to get to the introductions and meet you all who I haven't had a chance to meet yet, and be sure that you all know each other. But why are we here? What is the learning collaborative? And then we'll go into some introductions. So the learning collaborative, it's designed to be an interactive space to learn and explore efforts to improve the well-being of young girls impacted by sex trafficking. And when we say impacted, that means those who are placed at risk of being impacted by sex trafficking, those who have experienced it, those who are surviving it right now, and those who are no longer surviving it and are thriving and out of the life. So we want to unpack the contributing factors that lead to disproportionate impact of sexual exploitation and trafficking of Black girls. And in this space, so we invite organizations, as you all know, when we saw our invite, that we asked you to bring along your youth and young adults, youth leaders, the youth who are receiving services, youth who are in shelter right now. We want to mitigate and change the culture of this work where we kind of gatekeep information as adults and service providers and open it up to youth. So if you do not have any youth here today, you still have a little bit of time to share with them about this opportunity, as this is the opening session, and we'll start to really dive deeper into the curriculum at the next session. So there's still a little bit more time. We always advocate, if you have new staff, if you have staff who are new to working in human trafficking, staff who are familiar, but you think that this would be a good space, a good place to have other folks to bounce ideas off of, please invite them to attend. There will be 6 live 90-minute opportunities to join and to be in community with others doing this work. And there will also be opportunities for self-paced learning, which I'll talk a little bit later through a database that you all will have access to. And we will set up accounts for each of you so that you can review recordings and resources. There will also be consultations by subject matter experts at each of the sessions. We will also have a therapeutic support in this space. And we really are hoping to create a network of connections. We want you all to maintain connections to each other. I know when I first started in my direct service work, it was kind of like finding a needle in a haystack, trying to answer questions and figure out what was happening and keep track of youth across state lines. So it was really helpful for me to be in spaces with people in other regions so that we can connect and I could learn about the laws in different areas, different innovations. And so we hope that this can be a resource and a space for you all in the same way. So now to the good part. We have introduced our team fully and we would love to meet you. So it looks like we have about 8 representation from about 8 organizations today. And I would love to, we'd love to open it up for introductions and we'll go by the order of just how one of the registration lists came in so we can touch on everybody. And so for the questions that we would love for you to answer when you come off mute is what is your name, your pronouns, the programs you're with, and what brings you to the work individually. And I'd love to get us started with Girl Power. Who is here from Girl Power today?
Hi, everyone. My name is Helen Vilorio. I am the Director of Programs at Girl Power Rocks in Miami, Florida. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And what program am I with? I think I said that. I'm with Girl Power Rocks is the name of our agency. The name of our program that is directly funded is called the Girls Intervention Program Plus, where we work with girls between 13 to 17 years old. And so what brings me to this work is that I am a social worker by trade. I've been doing this my whole life. It's been my professional career. I got my degree in my postgraduate degree in social work. And so I work in the community that I grew up in, which is a specific area here in Miami called, one of the areas that Girl Power works in is called Alapata. And it's the part of the city that I grew up in. And I always wanted to work at a community-based organization that did work in my community. So I always felt a strong connection to where I am, where I'm from. I love Miami, so if you don't like Miami, please don't mention it. I'm just kidding. But I'm like, I love my city. And so it's brought me to that work of just service and really providing the best possible programming for the people in my community. And what I love about Girl Power is that we just don't service a girl, but we service the entire family. So that's what's really brought me to the work. I'm really happy to be here. It's so nice to see all of you guys. Hi, Joy, and everyone else. It's nice to reconnect. And I'm really excited to hear about the youth leaders and the work that you're doing. So I'm just looking forward to the rest of the meeting. Thank you so much. And I'll pass the baton to my coworker, Rashada, who's here. She's also from Girl Power, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I am Rashada with Girl Power, of course. I am the Director of Operations here at Girl Power. I've been in this role for about 12 years now, working with the girls in this community. I, too, am from Miami, and I would say, what brings me to this work is this is the community that I grew up in. Doing this work, I know the kind of challenges that girls face, even the families that they come from. This is a mostly Black and Brown community, a lot of immigrants here, and just different dynamics that lead to, these different kinds of situations with the population. And I love to help the people and give them options and resources and lead them to the water. So that's why I do this work. Thank you so much. I don't think there's anyone else here from our agency today.
Thank you, Girl Power. And we hear you loud and clear, Miami. Thank you for being here today and for the work that you are doing. And for the next program, the International Organization for Adolescents, or IOFA.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jody Haskin. My pronouns are she, her, hers. The program that we're with is the New Futures Mentoring Program. It's our direct service mentoring program that's mobile mentoring, and it's primarily taking place in child welfare systems within Westchester County, New York. The mentors, however, are individuals who are adults with lived experience, and they're located all over the country. I am in a kind of a plain room, and my background should be blurred. I have kind of whitish pink skin, and my hair is pulled back into a braid today. And the things that bring me to this work individually is connecting communities. It's always been something that I love to do, bringing together people, making sure that we're addressing gaps in services and identifying ways that we can bring people and services together to make sure that everyone's receiving the kind of comprehensive care that they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody, and thank you for adding your description. For accessibility reasons, we always welcome that. So thank you for bringing that into the space and for the work, the amazing work that's happening there at IOFA. And Gwen's Girls.
Good afternoon. My name is Amber Knight. I work with the See the Best of Me program here in Pittsburgh. Oh wait, I skipped a couple things here in Pittsburgh. My pronouns are she and her. I think that's right. She, her, hers. And what brings me to this work individually is I have lived experience in sexual exploitation from probably the time of 13, maybe even up to the age of 30. Since about 30, I've been working with youth, basically trying to assist them through my learned experience, trying to guide them into different, more positive things. So I'm pretty new here. I spent about 5 years as a youth support partner, another 5 years at the Urban League, and now I'm at Gwen's Girls. So hopefully I can bring a lot to the table.
Thank you, Amber, for being here. Thank you for showing up authentically. And thank you for all the amazing work that's happening at Gwen's Girls. We're looking forward to learning from you all soon, later in September. Hopewell Incorporated.
I'll hop in and then I'll pass it off to other folks. Hi, my name is Becca Tybert. I am the program director here at Hopewell's My First Place program in Boston. It is a housing first education and employment program for youth aging out of the foster care system 18 to 22. My pronouns are anything said with care, no offense taken, as long as it's meant with love. As far as what brings me to the work, kind of got thrown into social work in undergrad. Found my passion doing rape crisis work in a different part of outside of Boston. Found a need for this type of independent living program based on what I was seeing in the communities that I was engaged in. And I have been at Hopewell for about 5 years and I love it. And I couldn't imagine any other way. It's the best feeling when you can support a young person accomplish their goals and move out into their own self-sufficient living environment. And I will pass it off to JC.
Hello, everyone. My name is JC Mateo, and I am the program director for My First Place in Springfield, Massachusetts. And just like Becca stated, we assist youth transitioning out of foster care to obtain independent living skills. This work I love. I have been passionate about the youth and their development for many years. I went through many lived experiences as well as a young person who didn't have many resources. And then someone showed up and said, I'm going to help you. So I'm paying it forward pretty much and trying to be that person for another young adult so that they can achieve their goals and success in life. I'm not sure if there's anyone else from Hopewell.
Olivia is here.
So I'll pass it over to Olivia.
Hi, so my name's Olivia. My pronouns are she, her. So I'm working also with Hopewell, just in a little bit of a different program through the comprehensive foster care across Massachusetts. So what brings me to this work, I would say that I kind of just found my way in it through, through my education, found myself at Hopewell. And then now working for 6 years here of just realizing that there's a lot of unique experiences that children experiencing the foster care system go through. And it's really about empowering them and listening to them and, trying to set them up for success. And, in any sort of way, give them the resources that they need by also, helping them out. So I am also here with my coworker, Caitlin, so I could pass it along to her.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Considine. Pronouns are she and her. I've been with Hopewell for 3 years now as a CFC social worker. I got into this role from, I worked for the district attorney's office for 6 years. And I was in the domestic violence unit. So then I kind of transferred from there over to doing in-home therapy. And I connected more with the kiddos necessarily than the parents. I felt like there was just a lot of need there for the kids. And I've been, like I said, I've been at Hopewell for 3 years. The majority of my caseload is teen female girls. So I definitely see a lot of kids that are either trafficked or on the verge of being trafficked, or could potentially be in a situation to be trafficked. So, and I have had kids go through CSEC before. So I was definitely interested in joining this training, and I'm happy to be here. And I don't think there's anyone else from Hopewell.
Hi, actually, my name is Giovanna Dietz. I've been at Hopewell for a few months now. I work with foster parents directly, so it's a different, I wouldn't say, how can I say this? Like, we're part of the same organization, but we do different, like we have different target areas. So my main target area are just foster families, which includes whatever youth are part of that foster family, as well as the foster parents. And sorry, my pronouns are she, her, hers. And I just feel like I can bring my own lived experience to social work. And just like someone else had previously mentioned, I work in the community I was born and raised in, and I take great pride in being able to give back to the community that I grew up in.
Thank you all. Hopewell came in strong today. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the work that you're doing, especially with transitional age youth and families. It's definitely a gap in the work and a growing edge for the movement to provide services and support. And I look forward to you being in this network with us.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Janon Rollins. I am from Boston CASA. Pleasure meeting everyone. I'm excited about this great work. My pronouns are she, hers, and hers. And what brings me to the work is just my passion for working with youth and young people and young adults. I am excited about this collaboration and look forward to learning and journeying with you in this work. I will now pass it along. I have a couple of team members with me today, so I will pass it along to who I see on my screen, which is Amari.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amari Hamberry. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am an advocate supervisor here at Boston CASA. And what brings me to the work individually. I am a strong advocate for the youth, and I'm a strong believer in giving back to my community. And Boston CASA just speaks to me in a way where other organizations necessarily didn't. So yeah, I'm glad to be here and I'm glad to meet you all. Oh, I want to pass it on to Sam.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sam Bale. Pronouns are they, them. Also an advocate supervisor with Boston CASA. I've been here for about 4 months. Originally actually signed up to be a CASA, and then there was an opening right when I was making a job change. Have been in direct service for a while, and yeah, what brings me to this? Well, Janan gracefully gave us the opportunity to sit in on this, and I'm very excited to be here. This work is like, and Janan knows this, like the heart of everything that I want to do. It really is like the framework of everyday life for me. I don't share often with my team, but I am a survivor of trafficking and exploitation, both as a young child and again as a young teen, runaway. So lots of stuff. I'm very interested particularly in this and in what it means for youth and what it means for families and communities. Also coming from an immigrant household, shout out to the 305 who is on the call today. That is my home base. Sorry, I'm not still there. Felt like that guilt come up, but I'm just mostly kidding. Maybe when I come down next, but yeah, I'm excited to be here and learn from everyone. It seems like a really strong group. And then the last thing I want to say is I had one of my advocates say the other day about one of our young people that it is a very slow process to help someone see that there's another way to life that isn't exploitation and trafficking, more or less is what she said. And I feel like that's also why I'm here. And I think a lot of people on this call would understand that kind of process.
For sure. Thank you so much to the CASA team for being here. And thank you for the work that you do. I have a little brother that I met through CASA, and I just can't imagine life without that program. And so I'm really excited that you all are here to share in this space, and we can learn from some of the innovations and the things that you are doing from there as well. How about My Life, My Choice?
I'm at cut, and we have one more person from CASA. Sorry, I did not. That was on me. Mukesh, you are here.
Actually, two more. I saw Charlie as well. This is Mukesh Baral. I'm an advocate supervisor at Boston CASA. I also wear a hat of transitional age youth. My pronouns are he, him, he is. So I do not have a personal story like you guys have, but like I have been working with youth for a decade now, and I guess the immigrant population that is in the United States have the similar issues of exploitation, sexual exploitation, or any other thing that you can imagine. Borders definitely are my interest around supporting the youth from 14 to up, transitional age youth. We have in Boston CASA around 50% of our cases that come from court is a transitional age youth. So this is definitely why I'm here, trying to learn more around what youth collaboratory, what you guys are trying to discuss and what I can draw from here. Thank you. Charlie's here, so I'll pass it to Charlie.
Thanks. Hey, everyone. I'm Charlie. My pronouns are he, him, his. Also with Boston CASA, I am their community engagement and volunteer manager. I've had a passion and interest in working with youth for my entire career. I am new to CASA. This is like week 4 for me. So I'm excited to learn in this space and bring resources and program ideas to our organization. And that's everyone from CASA.
Thank you, CASA. And My Life, My Choice. Okay. Well, if you hop back on, feel free to jump in and let us know. And we'll move on to motivating, inspiring, serving, supporting sexually exploited minors, also known as MISSY.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brigitte Joyner. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm here joining from Missy in Oakland, California. And the program that I'm with here at Missy is the Engagement Services Program. I am the Engagement Services Case Manager Facilitator here at Missy. And what brings me to this work personally, I'm from this community, born and raised here in Oakland, California. So for me, this journey is a part of me being the young woman that other young girls needed. You know, I'm basically being that change that I want to see in my community. So that's what brings me to this work and my passion and my drive for just community support and outreach and collaboration and engagement with our youth and young people here in Oakland, California. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, Bree. Is there anyone else from Missy here?
Hi, I'm also from Missy as well. My name is Elaine. I use she, they pronouns. I am with Missy as a youth engagement specialist, and I also do trainings with youth talking about, it's called Let's Talk About It. So I go to the OUSD district and kind of talk about CSEC and difficult topics like boundaries and sex education and sex health and stuff like that. What brings me to this work? For me, it's really personal just because it's like I think Missy is really important just because it's like we're working with young girls and women that are affected by something that happens every day, and I feel like it's really important to start their change and help them heal from the start or wherever they are in their journey, and just to continue to see change for them and help them through their journey as well.
Thank you, Missy, and for the amazing work that's happened. That there at Missy is a huge transformator of the progress and the movement here in the Bay Area as a survivor. Started as a survivor-led organization, and so I just want to thank you all for being here and the very important work that you're doing at Missy. All of you, thank you for how you're showing up in your community at a time where it has been difficult for everybody. And even more so, our work is needed at this time. Before I go on, is there anyone that I've missed? I think Massachusetts Coalition. Yes, go for it, Kelly.
Hi, my name is Kelly Turley, she, her pronouns. I'm with the Massachusetts Coalition for the Homeless, our associate director, and oversee our public policy and advocacy work, which includes a strong focus on addressing and ending youth and young adult homelessness. And for the past decade or so, I've worked with the state's Commission on Unaccompanied Homeless Youth, bringing in youth and young adults to help shape the creation and expansion of services for youth and young adults experiencing housing instability and homelessness, and organizing our annual youth count. And through that process, trying to connect more with young people who are experiencing homelessness due to trafficking and exploitation issues. So it's great to be here with everyone.
Thank you, Kelly. Is there anyone else who has not introduced themselves yet and would like to?
Yeah, it's Jonathan Regis. Hi, how are you? My name is Jonathan Regis. I'm the program director from Youth Harbors. My pronouns are he, him, his. And I wanted to share, I guess, what brings me to the work. I don't have a background in social work or so I came in more from like just growing up in the Boston communities. Mattapan was my neighborhood I grew up in, and just understanding that the support and the protective factors that existed for me. A lot of my peers in the community, a lot of other community members just didn't have access or the type of support that helped me get through. And so I recognize, through work, whether, doing community organizing or, activities and, around political issues or issues that do affect members of my community. It drew me closer to doing this work, where at Youth Harbors, as a program director, our team provides case management and support to youth who are experiencing homelessness in the greater Boston area through like the high schools and just different partnerships we have with other providers to help us identify and support those youth and around all the issues that we're talking about here today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, Jonathan, and thank you for mentioning protective factors. I think it's so important, and it's a way that we come to the work as well from a strength-based approach. Of course, we have to have some difficult conversations, right? We have to talk about the things that place youth at risk and the things that create vulnerabilities, but we also talk about protective factors because we know that those are equally important. There's a couple of other folks that I don't think go for it, Sheila.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sheila Graham. My pronouns are they, them. I am the Associate Director of Youth Development at More Than Words in Boston. We are a job training program, and we work with young people between 16 and 24. They come in and learn crucial work skills that they can one day be independent. We also help our young people to learn to advocate for themselves. We work with youth who have some kind of system involvement, whether it's Department of Children and Families, court involved, probation, a lot of youth experience in homelessness. I've been in this work for 20 plus years, and I've been at More Than Words for 10. And I think over the last 3 to 4 years, we're getting more young ladies who are either still in the life, looking to get out of the life, and those who just are in denial that they are in the life. So I'm here to try and learn and find other resources to kind of help support my young ladies to kind of do something better for themselves. And since I don't have that background, I'm here leaning on the rest of you all to learn those things.
Thank you for being here and for your willingness to come in service of the youth that you are working based on the things that you're seeing in your community, Sheila. We appreciate you being here. Any others? No? All right. Well, I just want to thank you all for showing up and doing what I would call full self-introductions, whole self-introductions. I think it's really important for us to come to the work as who we are as humans, so we don't have to be segmented in different areas, and we can learn together and model that for our youth that we're in relationship with, that we can show up fully. So thank you for that. That was, I know it took a bit of time, but we think that it's important that we know who's in the space. If we were in a room together, I would ask you to remember and write down the names of the organizations and the people who were present, so that you know that you have a resource in another part of the country, in another part of the city, that is working on the same things, that is interested in maybe moving through some of the same challenges that you are. And so again, thank you for being here. Thank you for the work you're doing in your community. Thank you for showing up in this space. So one of the things that is going to be so important as we kind of do a deeper dive into this topic, when we talk about human trafficking, exploitation, labor trafficking, when people begin to tell their truth and talk about the stories and their experiences that they may have had, it's important that we have some community agreements because, and pardon that noise. It's inevitable that Murphy's Law, that as soon as we start to have a presentation, that something starts to happen. So Deja, feel free if you would like to jump in here and talk through things.
Yeah, so sure. So as we, consider that we are going to be in community over the next course of these months, some things that we just we're into agreements are take space and making space. So keeping in mind that everything you say in this space is valued, and we want to hear all the good things you have to say. However, no one want to step back and give someone else the mic. Everyone brings something to the table, even if it's just an appetite. Work on the issue, not the person. Believe positive intent until proven otherwise. We all have the same goal, but we're going to have to struggle through it. You may not align with someone else. You may experience those internal battles, but we are all working towards the same goal, but it's going to take some efforts. Agree to challenge each other's questions. We are listening to understand more deeply. Listen to understand, and take care of yourself. Knowing when to turn off your camera or take a moment to walk around. Zoom fatigue is real. As the saying goes, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Learning leaves the room, but stories stay. Acknowledging that oppression and racism are real and present. We are always looking to expand our community agreements. So please, in the chat, if you will, add some more community agreements that should be up there, or anything additional that you all have to add. I need some help from my team because my system is all crazy. So are we all in alignment and agreement with some of these community agreements? Could just a thumbs up, a yeah in the chat. Thumbs up. You can do the reactions on Zoom too. Y'all literally have to put your thumbs up. Don't listen to me. But you can put it in the reactions as well too. That is great. Seeing thumbs up. I don't see anybody like, no, I don't agree with it in the chat. Are y'all good? Yay, yay. All right. So I am going to pass it back to Joy just to get us started with our language and grounding.
Thank you, Deja. So some of the things that we're going to spend a lot of time talking about intentionality, a lot of time talking about language, a lot of time talking about disproportionality, but we want to just start this conversation with what we like to use is our stoplight as a quick reference. And the stoplight is just as you imagine it. Red light is please stop. Yellow light is proceed with caution, and the green light are the go words, right? So in this space, we are intentionally centering youth. We are intentionally centering folks that have been traditionally marginalized. And so with that, we want to be careful, and we're going to use intentional words around here. So you will never hear us refer to youth as prostitutes. If that word or term is used, it is because of a law, but we don't ever say a young person was involved in prostitution, because we know that there is no such thing as what? A child prostitute. So we actually put that that is something that we live by. We also do not refer to youth as sex workers. That is just where we draw a line there. When we hear the terms used like fast or like that, they have a connotation that we are putting the onus of the problem on a youth, on a behavior that a youth has, rather than likely their exploitation or victimization at the hands of an adult. And so we don't refer to youth as fast in this space, especially when we're talking about Black girls, because of the history of criminalizing and adultifying Black girls, and that keeping us from creating a barrier for our being able to provide services for them. We also steer away from terms like problem child or difficult, illegal when referring to immigrants or newcomers here. We don't refer to folks in that way. And we also don't refer to exploitation and trafficking as a choice. And so we'll go into all of this a little deeper, but we do want to start with full transparency and say that we are intentionally not using these words, and we invite you to do the same, especially in this space. In terms of words, where we ask you to tread lightly, where things can be misunderstood, they can carry judgment, they can distract from our centering of youth, especially Black girls. When talking to survivors, when talking to youth, we want to be careful not to name their trauma for them. And so I'm not going to say, oh, you were raped last night to a young person. And I'm going to use that sparingly in my conversation with other adults too, as we know that we all can be triggered in this work as well. Normal life. So you'll hear people refer to in the life, and that usually is in reference to a life that is impacted by trafficking. And then people say, well, in normal life. And we all know, are probably familiar with the othering dynamic and what it can feel like, and what we model to youth and young adults who have been impacted by exploitation and trafficking when we say that their life is something other than normal. It's the same with regular people. The sex industry, we don't use that when we're referring to youth and young adults, because the sex industry is an industry that technically should be an adult space, and is not. And then we know that that is not an industry for children. And so a lot of times, and I will say also, something that we tend to stick to is that when we're referring to children, we're referring to people who are 7, 8, 9 years old. When referring to youth, we're referring to older youth, especially when we get to like 10, 11, 12. And young adults is like 17, 18, 24 and up. And so that's just something else to keep in mind. It's not here, but it's also a tread lightly. So I'll say when I'm saying children, I'm speaking specifically to the grade school age kids. Slavery is a term that there's split decision on this within the movement. There are some organizations who have this in their title, some people who use this regularly, the term modern day slavery, but in a space where we're centering youth of color, we're centering Black girls. I personally, when I hear the term slavery, I think of chattel slavery, and it takes me out of the current space and time of talking to you about sex trafficking and exploitation, and it takes me to an experience of my ancestors, which is out of this space. And so we don't, in this space, use slavery to reference exploitation and trafficking. Survival sex, we use sparingly. We understand it, as most of us do, as a means, doing something as a means for survival. But we use it situation by situation. And we'd have to know a lot of information to use it in reference to a young person or a child. The term victim is also something that we put in yellow because some people have no interest in being referred to as a victim. A lot of us receive our funding from OJJDP, OVC, the Department of Justice. And that is where we come from in this work, is like, how do we stop the crime? How do we stop the victimization? And we absolutely 100% agree with stopping these atrocities, but when referring to a person, I may not refer to a person as a victim. If they refer to themselves that way, I respect that. But we have to tread lightly there and refer to people just like we do with pronouns and what people ask us in the way that we should best refer to them. We do like to use words like survivor. We do use trafficking. We do use the term exploitation. We do talk about trauma. We do talk about child abuse, and we do talk about rebuilding and protective factors. And we try to use strength-based language as much as we can. I know a lot of folks are shifting away from trauma-informed approaches to just wellness approaches, to human rights approaches. And we're working to shift that as well. So just some things to keep in mind in our space together is that we're all coming in with different experiences, different levels of awareness in the work, but this is something that we will share with you all afterwards so that you have it, that we would ask that we kind of hold to as part of the agreement and the words that we use, especially in reference to youth in this space together. There is one additional piece though around language that I'd love to invite Deja to talk about.
Yes, and I call it checking our adultism, right? So, our organization really values and respects the youth and adults whose voices are being elevated and whose expertise is being brought to the table throughout this entire learning collaborative NTA process. So as you heard about our wonderful GAB, which they will be working without us through this entire ordeal. So in order to be effectively engaging with young people, we need to take time to really evaluate ourselves and access like the adultism that we may have, or at least if we don't know we possess it when engaging with youth. Many times what comes with adultism is that assumption that adults in this field or in certain positions know more than the young person that they are serving. And by making that assumption, especially in this space, your organization really cannot receive that full impact of youth input when effectively seeking to engage with them and dismantling systems in which we all seek to do in this work. So some examples of adultism that you may not be aware of that shows up sometimes in service delivery is that rescue of a young person or the desire to save them. That's just like one example of adultism, because it really just assumes that young people just cannot help themselves, or as a result, we ultimately end up helping them in a way that they really can't help themselves. And what I mean by that, or it just really doesn't give that young person an opportunity to make important decisions or tackle certain responsibilities, because we assume that they haven't reached that level, or we cannot, keep them on track. So I can go on and on, but ultimately through this learning collaborative, really take some time to evaluate yourself and make this an I cannot say like this word. Sometimes I get like tongue twisters, adultism free environment. And keep in mind that when youth leaders are at the table and when adult leaders, really take that initiative, collaborate and form those authentic partnerships, that we will bring that powerful impact that moves this work forward. Whew, that was like a tongue twister for me. So we're going to go to the next slide. And this is the time for us to move into our breakout room so that you'll be able to discuss the following topics. You will get these questions in the chat. But some of the questions that we're going to talk about in these breakout rooms are, what are some of the challenges that you've encountered when creating programming that is responsive to youth needs? Or what are some things that you're hoping to gain from this learning collaborative? After we do complete, after we take about 10 minutes in these breakout rooms, we'll come back to the main room and we'll just share out what you all talked about. This is also a time, now that you all have met each other and that, you've heard what some other organizations do, for you all to be in community as well too. So we're going to break out in 5, 4.
Just a heads up, as Benita, who we did not introduce, but is behind the scenes, both Benita and Samantha, making sure everything runs smoothly for you all. So as they're working on the breakout rooms, just a heads up that these, you'll be in your rooms for 10 minutes.
So as you all are coming back from your breakouts, I hope you all had a great conversation with the folks that were in your breakout sessions. And now if we could commit to one person from each breakout, if they feel confident, I know we didn't prepare y'all for that, to kind of discuss some of the things that were talked about, or multiple people from the breakout rooms, that would be great too. But can we start off with breakout room 1? Just what are some of the conversations that you had? What are some things that you're looking forward to? What are some of the challenges? I'm not gonna pick on nobody because y'all don't know me like that yet, but I will pick on y'all.
No problem. I was with group 1. Hey everyone, it's Twain here. And just some challenge. Sorry, please do not mind the thunder in the background. It's raining crazy. Yeah, it's raining crazy right now. But some of the challenges we talked about were just engaging with families, the time to engage, burnout, tending to everyone's specific needs. And, everyone's different, willingness, and also self-esteem as well. Just trying to help build that, because it's also a main problem. If I'm forgetting anything too, anyone from group 1 can help mention, but those were definitely some challenges and everything everyone discussed and wanted to work through as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to add that they said that it was hard to collaborate with other organizations due to the pandemic and trying to reconnect. So that was one of the issues as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for those. Yeah, those are some challenges that hopefully with this learning collaborative that we can answer some of those challenges that you all are facing. What are some things that you're hoping to gain from this learning collaborative, breakout room 1, team 1, I should say?
I'd say more engaging and proactive practices to just help youth and organizations better serve youth and community. So I'd say definitely more of those, and more team building exercises, and just ways to better support and increase productivity and as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's nobody else from breakout room 1. We can definitely move on to breakout room 2 around some of the discussions or discussions you all had around challenges in y'all breakout.
I think we were breakout 2, so I'll try and do this. The things that came up were hiring the right staff, people with the qualifications to actually work with the population, coming back into like from the remote world into in person, and having a staff member who now has to kind of come up with like a hybrid way of being able to split her time to do some still remote work, but also doing some sessions in person was a challenge. And one of the other things was just not knowing what the young lady's needs are. So trying to learn what the resources are, trying to figure out how to actually make that connection so that they like building that trust. Like, how do you go about doing that? Those were like the main things that we talked about. Everyone else can chime in if I'm forgetting anything.
Yeah, those are all great ones. Anything else from breakout 2? Around challenges or hoping to gain? If not, we can move on to breakout room 3 really quickly. Not gonna pick on y'all. This
Hello?
person. Yep.
Yeah, we had a good conversation in 3. We spoke about challenges around engagement with youth in programming in terms of around outreach, and also when we're offering a service, being a service that they want, not just or need, not just as it's defined by the grants that we may be applying for. I think if I'm representing it correctly, but also I think the need for us to create opportunities for youth to have a voice and a say in how services are delivered, and helping them to feel as if they're heard, was something that we discussed. Does that cover it, James?
Yeah, those are all those are really great ones. So yes, I definitely look forward to hearing the rest of those. Please, if you have any additional ones, throw them in the chat, because we like to take these things back and just take them into our own consideration. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Joy.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and can you all see my screen? Do you see introducing learning management? Okay, perfect. I love it. Okay, and so just as a heads up, you all will have access to the learning management system, which is a database that will house the recordings for these sessions, resources that we share with you all during these sessions. You'll also get these things in an email following the session. You'll get the recording, the PowerPoint slides, any resources that we share with you. But the learning management system houses it all, so you don't have to keep track of it all on your own. If you are like myself, you want to get a binder and print out the things, and or if you are conscious of the environment and are not going to waste paper like I tend to do, then you can keep it all digital and utilize the LMS as your personal library. So as long as you are registered with your correct email address and name, we can get those accounts started for you. If there are additional members who plan to attend who did not today, please share with us their contact information and we will create an account for them. And we will share with you a one sheet on instructions on accessing LMS as well. Something else to keep in mind is that we are able to provide a certificate of completion for these sessions to you all. That email address that you will need will be available to you in the email with all of the things that we send to you following the session. So again, in that email, you'll get the recording, you'll get the slides, and it will say, for a certificate, please email somebody on our team, and you can do that. We do ask that you are present for all or at least 85% of the session in order for us to give you a certificate of completion for that session. A quick review of the schedule. We do ask that you all hang with us and hang out and be an active participant in this learning collaborative community. We know we all have experience in direct services if things happen and that someone may need to miss a session. But all of the sessions are up on our website and are available to register. You have to register for each one independently. And so if you are, again, it is Virgo season officially today. So if you are a Virgo and there are a few on this call, you probably want to go ahead and register for everything now. Or if you would prefer to do it as you go, that's fine. You can also put calendar holds if you're not able to register right now so that you have the dates available. If you are working with youth and young adults who are in programming, in shelter, you know they can come for one or two of these. Just keep these dates handy so that when you're with them, or if you're in community with case managers, say, hey, there's an activity on this day or something that youth can take part in. If you have new staff coming in and you would like them to take part, please let us know so we can also set up an LMS account for them as they begin to register. Okay. So we'll be taking a break November and December because work, holidays, family, all the things. We know in this work that we have to sustain, and that requires an ebb and a flow. So we're going to ebb a little bit November and December and resume back in January.
That's a family.
So now is the time for any questions that you all may have for us. About the collaborative, about what is coming, anything that we can answer for you all.
I have a question. Would you all possibly consider either maybe some of these sessions to be at a later start time, or even because I'm just thinking about when we actually want the youth to participate, I think it's a great platform for them to be on. But like, for instance, a lot of students for us don't get to programming until about 3:30, some even 4 o'clock. You know, and so they realistically aren't able to, you know, get on the call or to participate. Excuse me, I'm not sure even if we can look at a teacher planning day, if we want, just thinking about a platform for you to actually be able to participate. I'm just saying that our students, they come a little later by the time they get out, and we actually get them into the building. There's after school traffic, you know, you want to get them snack, la, la, la. So just throwing it out there, or, you know, making a suggestion for days we may want you to actually participate.
I appreciate you centering that, Rashada. Timing is tough. We're a national org, and we have sites from Alaska, Hawaii, all the way over to New York. And so it
it's
is
that time right now for some
people. Bad time for everyone.
It's pushing 5 o'clock for me.
So it's you know, we'll take that feedback, and you know what we can consider is maybe having a session specifically for youth that we can schedule. If that's something that enough of folks are interested in, say we have youth that can be available at this time. Youth Collab would be willing to hold something specifically for youth, and I'm sure the Girls Action Board could help us with that as well. So it would be helpful, Rashada, I see Boston Casa, if send us times, days and times, And we'll start to collect that data and see what we can do, and maybe throw out some dates and see what we can do in the next, between now and the end of the year. All right.
I have a question. So I know we went through and did introductions. I did get a lot of people's companies and organizations, but not all. Would it be possible to get a list of all the organizations that are present? Not today, but who are participating?
Absolutely. So we can send out a list of organizations for sure. We will need consent from participants to send out participant information, but we will include in a follow-up email a list of the organizations that are here. If you all could do me a favor, when we send out that email, we'll add a line in there around consent to include name and title with organizations, and respond to that email if you do not want to be included on that list, and we will use that as a contact list for the cohort. Also, once you have your LMS logins, you should also be able to connect live to other people within that platform and send messages to each other within that platform. So that's also a way to stay connected and build those bridges. Great question, Sheila. Thank you for that. Both of those. I'm so excited for this grouping of people of expertise that's in wisdom in this space, and I'm looking forward to us to go on this journey together. Just a few more bits of information. I'm going to paste it to Deja for our next steps.
Yeah, so listed below is all of our contact information if you want to get a hold of anyone. We do have Lenore's contact information. Well, she was not present with us today. If you would like to get a hold of our GAB team or anything like that related to GAB, just contact me and I could definitely make those connections for you all. Go on to the next slide. It's just a thank you. Shout out to Virgo season. Okay, I'm just a Virgo. My birthday is September 3rd. Y'all know Virgo Nation. We go to the world. But shout out to y'all Virgos out there. Thank you for all of us being in community with you all today. I look forward. I'm so excited for our time together and this learning collaborative. Please take a moment to fill out our evaluation that will be dropped in the chat in just a moment. Once again, so just thank you for joining our first learning session. We look forward to seeing you all on September 19th, where Gab and myself, we will discuss authentic youth engagement and centering equity and service delivery. We are going to provide some impactful and insightful information. I ain't gonna lie, y'all, it's gonna be dope. So I don't want y'all to miss it. So I need y'all to be there. So register. But thanks again, y'all. And I'm wishing y'all the best rest of y'all day.